Hi, let's talk about the National Liberty Alliance, the controlled opposition movement that was started by a guy who calls himself John Darish, who's alleged to have a real name of John Fedoruk, and who is also alleged to be a bar attorney. The National Liberty Alliance is something that's run by lawyers to make you interact with lawyers instead of throwing the lawyers out of our government. That's what it's designed to do, to fool you into believing that you can play games with lawyers and beat them on their home field with their empires playing by the rules that they made up. You can't win. You can't beat lawyers when you play by their rules. The National Liberty Alliance compels people to spend hours upon hours reading legal nonsense to become knowledgeable in how lawyers want us to behave to interact with them. This is just beyond stupid for anyone to play this game. When you understand the history of the United States, you've been taught to understand the 13th Amendment. Everybody involved with the National Liberty Alliance knows that the original 13th Amendment barred lawyers from working anywhere in our government. Yet here you are, playing games with them instead of jumping on the knowledge that the lawyers are not supposed to be in our government. All you well-meaning people are, as always, putting yourselves in a subservient position to the enemy infiltrators called lawyers who took over our government about 150 years ago. I think they were involved back in 1787 when they interfered with the writing of the Constitution and perverted it by putting things in there like the Electoral College and the fact that the only way you could remove someone from Congress was by other members of Congress impeaching them. This left it open for Congress to become 100% corrupt with no way to remove them according to the Constitution. That's a major flaw. Yet you people are taught and you agree to obey the Constitution as our highest law. What you don't understand is that the Declaration of Independence always stands above the Constitution. The Constitution is a law for the government to obey. The Declaration of Independence is the law for us to obey. The Declaration of Independence told us to throw off such government after a long train of abuses and usurpations. It didn't tell us to act like fools and play games with the lawyers who infiltrated our government. It told us to remove them. And that's what you have to do to solve the problem. You can't be trapped in this legal quagmire that encourages you to spend so many hours learning what the lawyers want you to learn so you can fight them and they can beat you. That's what's going on here. All of your energy, put yourself in a position whereby you are absolutely going to lose. The government has all of the guys with guns and badges in their hands. They pay their salaries, that's who they obey. They're taught that you're a bunch of right-wing radicals or conspiracy theorists or whatever word they decide to call you, so that the cops and the prison guards and the military think of you as some kind of wackos and won't pay any attention to what you're trying to tell them and won't help you beat our government because, of course, they work for the government. The only way to beat the government is to fire it. That's the power that we have. You can't sit there and play games with these elected criminals and the infiltrators from the Bar Association. When we unite, we have the power to remove these criminals. That's what we have to do. You can't be trapped in these controlled opposition games where somebody tells you that you have to play by any rules at all because you're the owners of the country. We are the authorities. We are the ones who tell the government what to do. We don't go up to the government and say, hey, government, can we play a game with you and see if we say the right words that you'll listen to us? No. You put yourself in the subservient position of allowing the government to say no, of allowing the guys with guns and badges to come and arrest you instead of arresting the elected bribed liars who misrepresent us. That's what the guys with guns and badges have to do, and they have to do it by our orders. When we understand that we're the authorities in the country, not the politicians, we can unite to give that order with millions of voices. That's the only way that we can take back our freedom. It has to be us telling the government, telling the cops, and telling the military that the people are giving the orders. That if the government won't obey us, that the people are ordering the cops and the military to remove the elected criminals, to remove the lawyers, to remove all the Israeli dual citizens, to remove all the appointed criminals who work in cabinet positions in the Supreme Court, to remove the president, to remove Congress, to remove every member of every legislature in the country, to remove every governor, to remove every judge and attorney general and district attorney and prosecutor. All these lawyers have to be gone. It's just that simple. The people have to put ourselves back in control. We do that by raising our voices and embracing the attitude that we own the country, that we aren't going to follow any statutes or any laws that were made by lawyers in Congress and lawyers in state legislatures, and any laws that were perverted by judges who sit on the bench in violation of the original 13th Amendment, in violation of Article 1, Section 9, and in violation of the Treason Clause. This is the way you have to go. You don't play the game that the National Liberty Alliance wants you to play. You don't put yourself in that subservient position. You have to put yourself in the position of power as owners of the country. Now, I know many of you people who are associated with the National Liberty Alliance believe that you're doing something useful. All you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot. You're keeping yourself in that subservient position, and you have to stop it. You have to rise above all this legal nonsense and get to the lawful position of asserting yourselves as the owners of the United States. We don't have to obey any laws. We don't have to play any legal games. We have to assert ourselves so that we are promoting life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and government by consent. When we elect people to make rules for us and to manage our affairs, we have to consent to it. All of the garbage that they've perpetrated against us since 1871, and especially with that Federal Reserve Bank in 1913, has been an affront to us. This is not a game to be played. It's a time to stand up and stop the abuse, stop the usurpations. Can you accept that attitude? That you're the owner of the country and that you refuse to play games with these infiltrators called lawyers and decide to unite and throw them out? Will you talk to me about that instead of talking to liars like John Darish or John Vidoric, whatever his name is, who tells you to play these stupid games when you have to exercise the option to fire our elected criminals? Will you do that, please? Talk to me instead of being led by this liar and the well-meaning people who think they're doing the right thing by joining the National Liberty Alliance. It's a hoax. It's a con game. It's controlled opposition. Please learn that. Talk to me. Thank you.